Hey everyone, this is Corinne Lafont, your favorite radio host, your only radio host on Between the Lines, broadcasting to you from Trinidad and Tobago, the lovely island in the Caribbean. It's a beautiful day out there, and you know this is the usual way I start my show. I am so thankful, I am so grateful for being here, for seeing another day, for having all my faculties intact. I think I have all my faculties intact. Even if I don't, hey, it's mine. And so and so it represents me. And I'm just on a journey of self-discovery. You guys may know who have been following, listening. It's just so much you can learn about yourself, and when you feel you've reached there, it's like there's so much more again to learn. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, I'm going to be put in a position today by this young woman who is in front of me and you're seeing on the camera. She's going to test my metal this morning. So I'm just preparing you that if you hear my voice cracking up or her voice cracking up a bit, you know, some tears shedding or me blowing my nose, or I go kind of silent, a long pause, anything like that, I'm preparing you from now. Okay, I'm not going to tell you why. You will know why when I tell you the topic and I introduce her. But I'm just preparing you. Okay, right. So I have with me Ronnie Wing Lambrecht, and she taught me German today. That surname of hers is her husband's, and it's German, Lambrecht. So I can go anywhere in Germany, and that's all I'm going to say, and everybody will answer me. Lambrecht, Lambrecht. That's what I'm going to say. And let me tell you a bit about her. Since losing their only child, Ronnie and her husband John couldn't be here with us today. I was asking for her husband to be here, but he's working on a project. He's into remodeling. They have learned what it takes to forge ahead and find new purpose in life, helping others to improve their lives by enhancing their focus on what is actually significant, their children and the other people in their lives. Ronnie has written a few books to this effect, and she's here to discuss not only her books, but her experience. And for those who have had a loss of a child or somebody significant to them, the coping strategies. And I really don't know, is there some way to ever cope? Do you really cross over to a point where you can say, I can survive, I can breathe, I'm okay? Yeah. So Ronnie, welcome to Between the Lines. It's a pleasure, it's an honor to have you. You said you lost your only child, but from in the reading, I sense that there are other children. Do you have other children after, or is it, or that's your
No,
only child?
no.
Yeah.
Dalton was our only one.
Oh wow, wow! I am
Yes.
so sorry to hear that. When did that happen?
It has been 4 years, 7 months, and 2 weeks.
And the fact that you can tell the exact time, it means to say you're still coping, because you're counting the days and the time. It is still fresh in your mind. You're a mother, I'm a mother, and I can totally, totally relate to that. I tell people who don't have biological children, like give birth, for example. Let me say give birth as opposed to adopting. I say you just can't relate to what giving birth is. It's if you don't have the experience, you just can't. So losing your only child is another thing. And I don't think, and you can tell me, even if you had other children, would the loss be any less for you?
Uh, I don't know how to answer that. I think there's definitely a difference.
Mm,
Um, because if you have other children, I think you're forced to get back into life and move forward with those children.
mm.
But again, I'm not speaking for those people because
You
I
can't
don't know
relate to that.
how
Yeah,
that works.
yeah.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
as a parent with two children, I am going to try to answer that myself. I don't think the loss is going to be any less. And I don't think for others who have heard the loss is any less. I know people with other children and they have lost a child and they still remember that loss. So it's not as if, oh, you need
Yes.
to focus on the other kids. Yes, you have to throw yourself into it, you have no choice. You realize it's in front of you. Your brain tells you, I have other children, I can't forsake them, so I need to do it. But in doing it, you still feel the loss. You still feel the loss. So it's no less. It's not like, well, I have other children and they could replace. There's no replacement. They're not appliances, they're not tools, they're human beings. They came from you. So it's no less. I don't want to push you too much. But I know the discussion is also therapeutic for you as well as for those who may have or may be going through it. And I want them to really, really connect with us. And I'm not going to push you if you feel that I'm asking you something that is going to be extremely sensitive or break you. I want you to stop me, okay?
No worries. You can ask me anything.
All right, I want you to stop me. So are you comfortable in talking about how it happened, what happened? Are you comfortable in talking about that?
Yes, I might get choked up a little, but yes, I can talk
Yeah.
about it.
Remember, we did the disclaimer in the beginning, so we
That's
prepared
right.
it. Yeah.
That's right. So Dalton was 15, and his entire life, from the time he was 7 weeks old,
Mhm.
he has been riding four-wheelers with John and I.
Mhm.
And so at age 15, after having nearly 15 years experience, his four-wheeler was like another limb for him. It was
Mhm.
like more legs, another arm. It was a
Right.
part of his body, and he was amazing on his four-wheeler.
Mhm.
Um, we went to Glamis Sand Dunes in California
Mhm.
for Christmas, and it was the only Christmas we had ever spent together, just the three of us, because
Oh.
we both have big families and we're usually with the family. And for some reason that Christmas we just had the three of us, and it was awesome.
Mhm.
Um, I suggest every family do that at least one time. Just
Mhm.
take your holidays and do them just your family that lives in your home.
Yeah.
Um, it's amazing. But
Mhm.
anyway, so that was Christmas Day of 2013, and 4 days later, we were still in the sand dunes and we were still riding our four-wheelers and camping. And my husband and our friend Kelly decided they were going to go find another campsite to move to, and they decided that Dalton would ride his four-wheeler to do that, so that when they found the campsite, Dalton could ride his four-wheeler around and like save the campsite, I guess, while they came back and got the campers.
Right.
Um,
So
and
he would hold the spot.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, so on the way to the new camping spot, Dalton was riding his four-wheeler, and an, there's something called a sand rail, and
Mhm.
it's like a really big dune buggy. And as far as weight goes, from what I'm told, it's about 6 times the weight of his four-wheeler,
Mhm.
and it's an enclosed cage and that kind of a thing. Anyway, sand rail hit Dalton head on,
Mhm.
um, going about 60 miles an hour,
Mhm.
and Dalton died instantly. He was thrown from the bike and died instantly.
Wow.
Um, and so for us, um, obviously that's sorry.
No, no, no.
um,
Don't apologize.
Obviously that's hugely devastating. But we really try and focus on the fact that he went out of this lifetime doing what he loved,
Yeah.
and while he was here, he was a force with his friends, and was a beautiful soul.
Yeah.
And anyway, so yeah, so we lost him at 10:37 California time on December 29th of 2013,
Mhm.
and every day since then is I would call it hell on earth. But
Yeah.
but we definitely are doing our best to try and make the best of it, and we're doing several different things to hopefully make his life mean something even after he's gone,
Yeah.
and keep us going, because we could lay in bed every single day and
Yeah.
cry our eyes out and say, why me?
Yeah.
But that just makes us a drag on society, and we need to be here and being productive.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ronnie. I know. When listening to your story, what I picked up is that you were not physically there at the time.
Correct. I was back at the camper,
Yeah.
wondering what was going on and why nobody was answering cell phones, why they were taking so long.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, as a mother, the first thing is worry sets in.
Yes.
Worry sets in. And you try for your mind not to go in that direction because you don't really have any reason to really, but worry just sets in. You don't know what you're worrying about, but you're worrying anyway because you're not getting feedback. You're not hearing anything.
Yes.
Um, how I don't even know how to put this question. You were not there. How did you find out? And when you did, what was your first, if you could recall, because you may have fainted, you may have, I don't know, and you're not aware, you may have lost time and space, I don't know. What did people tell you happened was your reaction? Because you may think you have had a reaction, but it's what others see in you. So how did you find out, and how did you react?
When John and Kelly got back to the camper, they parked on the other side of the door, the other side of the camper, and were walking around the camper, and you know how thin those walls are. I could hear them outside, and it sounded like John was almost like he was laughing really hard. He was crying so hard it almost sounded like he was laughing, I guess. And at this point I'm kind of angry, like, I haven't heard from you in almost 3 hours, and where the heck have you been? And but I didn't say anything like that. And John came to the front door of our camper and was knocking on the door, and I said, go to the back door. We have kind of a rule in the camper that you go to the back door so that you don't get sand and dirt and everything in the camper. And so I was frustrated that he wanted me to open the kitchen door of the camper.
Yeah.
It's all so stupid now. But he just kept pounding on that door and open the door. And what I thought was kind of like growling, laughing in between, was actually he was crying really hard. And so finally I opened the door, and John just looked up at me. He was covered in what looked like brown stuff. And he just said, we lost him. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, we lost Dalton. And I said, well, he's smart. We've trained him.
Yeah.
He knows. Yeah, he knows if he gets separated from us to stop where he is, and that we'll find him. He knows the rules. And so I said, just now, I'll put my boots on and we'll go. I'll grab my helmet, my boots, and we'll go. And John just kept saying, no, you don't understand. We lost him. And it just kept going on like that. Like, it seems like for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then a police car pulled around the campers, and a policeman got out, and he had a business card in his hand, and kind of started walking up to the camper. And he said, I'm sorry, ma'am. And I still don't understand what's happening. And then our friend Kelly was in his camper, and they were kind of parked in an L, so I could see into his camper. And he was telling his wife about what had happened, and she had the baby in her arms. It's her baby. And all of a sudden, she's falling to the ground, and Kelly is grabbing the baby. I know something is wrong now, but I don't know what is wrong. And the police officer is still walking toward the camper saying, I'm sorry, ma'am. And Kelly then comes out of his camper and he says, Ronnie, you're not understanding. Dalton is dead. And I wasn't understanding, obviously. I think I screamed really loud. I feel like I screamed really loud. And I know I was screaming no, that was not true. And then the police officer just keeps trying to hand me this business card, and he says, your son is in El Centro and you won't be able to see him until Tuesday. And this is a Sunday.
Wow.
And I'm saying, what are you talking about? And he's saying, we had to take your son to El Centro because that's the only place that has a funeral home that can take care of him.
Wow.
And I'm saying, no, that's not true, and I have to see him now. And anyway, and it just goes on from there. It was insane. It just so out of body experience.
Yes. You're talking to me, and I am. Oh my God, Ronnie. I am thinking to myself, just the way you're retelling that, I'm thinking to myself, how unemotional others are to your situation, matter of fact kind of a thing. And you know, I am wondering to myself if there's an approach to approaching a parent, especially whether mother or father. Father's response is always different, or we assume that they are different. But especially the mother, or coming to parents, let's bundle it up like that, to tell them about the loss of a child. If there is an approach to do that, that would not be shocking to their system in that kind of a way. I am wondering, you wonder if you understand what I'm saying, because I'm listening.
I do, and
yeah,
honestly, I don't think that there is a way. It's going to be a shock no matter what.
Yeah, but oh my God, something to withstand that shock, not to be so forceful, because you clearly, just when you were told that you lost him, we lost him, your mind went into lost as in, oh, we could find him. That is where my mind will go to as a mother. Of course, we'll find him. He knows what to do. We will go.
Yeah, we've trained them.
Of course. Yeah. That's easy. We could do that. I could deal with that.
Yeah.
And that is what it is.
Yes.
Your mind is telling you, I could deal with that. Not what I think you're trying to tell me. So I am not listening to that.
Correct.
That is
correct.
And
it doesn't register for a long time.
Yeah. I am not listening to loss as in death. I am listening to loss as in lost and found. So
yes.
Yeah. So if you are trying to tell me otherwise, I am not going there with you. I am in the lost and found mode. So let's put on our clothes and find him.
Exactly. Yeah, that was my first thought. I'll put my boots on, I'll grab my helmet, and we'll go.
Your mind goes into that because it doesn't want to understand the other side. Because that is the side of madness. I am going to go mad. I am going to go crazy. And I am not going there. I am not going there. You are not going to take me there. So where I am is in the lost and found. So you better work with me. And everybody else, the police, the other trailer with Kelly, you all better work with the program. It's lost and found. And so when the police is coming to me to say, Tuesday, what do you mean Tuesday? I need to find my son. It's right now.
Exactly.
Right? That is where your mind is. You can't be telling me Tuesday. He could be without food. He could be without water. No, we don't have time. We don't have time for the Tuesday story. He needs to be found right now. So why are you telling me that? So everybody needs to fit with your program. So I'm saying they could have picked up where you were and say, yes, ma'am, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're
Yes.
saying. As opposed to keep trying to force what they're thinking with you and give you time to really realize. I don't know. I'm not a professional psychologist or psychiatrist, but as a mom, I'm coming from a mom perspective. If I were with
Yes.
you at that point, I would walk up to you, Ronnie, and say, "You're right, Ronnie. You're right." And hold you and say, "Come with me. We are going to see him now." And I would talk to the police and I would say, "We need to see Dalton now." and I would say, "We're going to find him. We're going to find him." So whatever mode you were in, that space of thinking, that whatever it is called, I don't know the terms in psychology or whatever, I would have worked with you where you are until we could have gone to a point where you would have realized, or within yourself come to the conclusion, this is what it is. And I would have been with you thick and thin throughout that process, because I know in your mind it wasn't ready to accept loss, LOST as LOSS, as
Right.
death or anything. So I would have been there with you because I know one day at some point it would have cracked.
Right.
It would have cracked. So this is what I'm saying. The approach that was used on that day was one of forcing you to accept, and you're not ready to accept that. You were
Correct.
not ready to accept that. So this is why I'm talking about it now, because as I say, this show is for persons to learn, to be empowered, to help. And I want, if anybody listening to this or persons listening to this, that they know that we understand what they're going through. And any psychologist or psychiatrist or anybody listening to this would be able to say, Corinne does have a point, Ronnie does have a point. It could have been approached differently, and we need to look at the ways we empathize, we put ourselves in person's situation. If it were happening to us, what's happening to her? How we could have done better, as opposed to being so robotic about it. Just come straight and tell her, this is what it is, flat out, deal with it, ma'am. This is what it is, and just walk off and go to our respective homes like if nothing happened. That cannot be. That cannot
Yes.
be. Now, so many things are rolling through my mind. When your husband came to you to say that to you, what was his reaction? Because I don't want to leave him out of this whole equation and just focus on you. He is the father. He has feelings too. He helped produce.
Yes.
He helped produce Dalton, and I'm
Mhm.
I'm asking, in your perspective, in your mind, how did he deal with that initial reaction?
Well, he got to Dalton and held Dalton as he took his last breath. So
Oh,
I got to bring him into this world, and Dalton got to hold him, or John got to hold Dalton to go out.
wow! Thank God.
And so all of that, the brown, everything that was all over his body, all
Yeah.
over his clothing, was Dalton's blood.
Yeah.
And and he was a wreck. And he couldn't say anything else. All he just kept saying was, "We lost him." And I bet you he said it 100 times. He didn't know what else to say, and he was crying so hard that he couldn't say anything else. And
Wow.
yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
4 years, Ronnie. It's been 4 years. How has your
For
relationship?
really long.
Yeah. It's not. Listen to me. Time is relative. It could be.
Yes.
10, it could be 10. It could be 20. It feels like yesterday.
Yes.
So don't worry about the number in terms of time. Don't focus on the number. It means nothing. It means nothing when it comes to a loss. Okay, my love?
Yes.
How has your relationship been with John?
It's
You know,
actually amazing. It's and I think we chose this. He I could have turned this around and played the blame game and
yeah,
said, why did you do this, and why did you want to find a new campsite, and
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
Why couldn't we have just stayed where we were? Or, why was Dalton on the bike by himself?
Yeah. Yeah.
We've never done that before. All these, we could have totally played the blame game.
Yeah, because I was about to ask you that, the blaming thing. And that's why I asked you the question, to see if you would go into the whole,
yes,
because we know that happens and that's natural and it's okay. It's okay. As I said, one person's listening to this to understand it's okay. It's natural. But continue telling me how you all relate.
Well, it's just very interesting. We both know that in life, in general everyday life, you make a choice every day. You make multiple choices every day to live your life in a certain way and to treat people with respect and to do your work with diligence and that kind of a thing. And so we knew immediately that we needed to make a choice, that we were either going to get through this or it was going to tear us apart. And
what a choice.
Yes. And
how long, let me just interrupt you, how long have you and John been married?
We hit 23 years in May.
Whoa, congratulations. So at the time, what is the maths on that? At the time you would have been married what?
19
years. Okay, that's still a long time. So you have 19 years in, so you made a choice. Either you pull apart or you stick together like glue.
Right.
Was that a mutual decision or your decision or his decision?
I think I probably had a little bit more to do with that.
I would think so.
I think I'm a leader in a lot of the emotional stuff in our relationship, as most women are. Yes.
Yeah. We take the helm.
Yes.
Yeah, you know it, Ronnie. And the mothers, we are the ones with the superpowers. Let me just say that. We run into things. Yeah, we done on that cape and we have the S on our chest. And as much as the pain is so much and we cannot bear, we know we have to stand up, and we have to stand up for not only ourselves but for the family. Yeah?
Yes. So
I know I suspected, and I know it had to be you holding that helm, you putting on that cape. But continue, go ahead.
Well, I think the first night it was just trying to. There's so many logistics to this that people never talk about the logistics of death, and what goes on, and what goes on behind the scenes, and how you get from point A to point B to point C to point D.
Who thinks about that, Ronnie? Who thinks about that?
But you have to think about it. Like, here I am arguing with the police officer, like, I have to see my son, and he's telling me I can't see him for 2 full days. And in all reality, I didn't get to see him for 4 days.
Whoa.
And so there's a whole nother ball game in there where in my head I'm thinking he is either really not dead, or he's
right,
or he's decapitated and they don't want me to see him. I mean, you come up with all kinds of horrible things. Horrible things. And then we moved to be in El Centro, to be closer to him, so we drove a long ways away to be close to Dalton's body, or to be close to him. And then, as it turns out, we found out on Tuesday that he was not even where they said he was, that they had taken him somewhere else. Yeah, if you can not die in California, it's a shitty place to die.
Thank you, Ronnie, for telling us.
Sorry. It's just horrendous. Everything they did there, all of everything they put us through, the people that we dealt with were ridiculous. They were terrible.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it sounds funny. It sounds funny now, right? But everybody who may come on my show may say the same thing for whatever location they may be in. They'll be like,
don't die there.
Don't die there. Okay, don't die there. And don't you even think about dying there. As if
Yeah,
you have any control
as
over
if you have a choice. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
I guess you could make the request and say, God, you just make sure I don't die
Yeah.
here. Okay. I am so
Yeah.
glad we could laugh at this right now. You know? Yeah. But yeah, you were talking about the logistics. Who the hell thinks about that? Nobody
Well,
thinks about that.
well, except that when you're in it, and you're away from your home,
Yeah.
and I mean, you have to go there. You have to
Yeah.
think about the logistics, and um, there are just so many things to put together, and
Yeah.
getting family to us to help us. Like, we still had a huge camper and bikes to get all the way back to Colorado,
Who
1,100
thinks
miles
about that?
away.
What the hell? Who cares about the bike?
Yeah.
What, Ronnie, what are you talking
we,
about? Ronnie,
well, we
look
just
here. Look here,
there's
Ronnie. Who gives a shit? who, who gives a shit? Right? Who cares? I am
well,
thinking,
and
what?
I do think that your stuff is put in front of you to focus on, to
Mm,
keep your brain away from reality, maybe.
yes.
um, because you wouldn't believe when I said to these people, because we were trying to get Dalton's body home,
Mm-hmm.
and and we had all agreed years ago that if we ever died, we would want to be cremated. And
Mm-hmm.
but John had said, no, we have to take his body home,
Mm-hmm.
because our families are going to want to see him before we cremate him. And I just thought that was so ridiculous. But and Dalton would be so mad that we were doing that, I thought. But in all the logistics and all of just insane. and and I said, the night of Dalton's accident, I said, I think that because Dalton's bike doesn't go home with us,
Mm-hmm.
because it's wrecked, obviously, I think that we bring Dalton home with us, and he can sit right where his bike would have sat,
Mm-hmm.
um, in
Yeah,
the
because you're
trailer.
connected.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I said, because they're telling me, oh, you're going to get on a plane, or Dalton's going to get on a plane, and because of the weather in Colorado, we can't go directly to Colorado, so we're going to have to fly him way past Colorado to Atlanta, and
Mm-hmm.
then from Atlanta, we're going to have to fly him
Mm-hmm.
to another state and then to Colorado. It was going to take like 4 days to get his body home, and they wouldn't let me travel with him. And here I am as a mother saying I wouldn't have let him travel by himself when he was here and could
Yeah.
speak for himself. I'm certainly not going to let him travel alone when he can't speak for himself.
Right.
And um, and people just thought I was ridiculous that I wanted to bring him home with me, and including my husband and our family. They thought I was a lunatic.
That's fine.
um, but I said, there's no way in the world I'm going to let him travel by himself, especially if they're not going to let me even be in the plane
Yes.
with him.
Yeah.
And um, it was just the most horrific outer body
Yeah.
experience of everything going on. And so I literally spent days figuring out permits and how I could get his body home, and if we could bring him in the
What
camper.
the hell? Ronnie.
Because because people, I'm telling you, the people in California where we were, would not help us with anything, and they were just horrendous. And finally, on Thursday night is when the funeral home finally agreed that we could take Dalton with us, and take him home, and then we did. So we finally did leave on Friday, and we drove home, and we got home on Sunday night.
I am going to interject here. I'm going to interject here. I'm listening to you and I'm getting upset. And
Yes.
I am getting upset. And I'm thinking to myself, I need to put in a plug here to tell everybody, don't even think about dying. It is it is too much work. It is too much
It's
stress.
so much work.
Yes, it is unnecessary, because when you're alive, you don't have all of this. You don't need permit. You don't need to be quarreling with anybody and all of that. So please, please, don't even think about dying or plan to die or any such thing about death, because when you leave, it puts everybody under a lot of stress. You are gone,
Yes.
but I mean, please don't even think about it. Okay, don't even think about it because I am, yeah, I'm listening to this mother here talking about the loss, of her son, and I'm like, why, 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 why does she have to be going through all this sort of paperwork, talking to people, quarreling with pilots, airplane attendants, the home, the husband, what? Really, everybody should be just damn well agreeing with you. They should be nodding their head in the
Yes.
affirmative and just giving in to what you say. Forget the freaking rules. Forget any other
Yes.
rule. I am like, why are you arguing back with me? You are supposed to be doing anything I say. This is
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
right. So
Yeah.
do not even think. Do not even you look. Don't make you join Dalton here right now because because right, right, that
Yes.
yeah, I would make you join Dalton. Okay, I would make you join
Yes.
Dalton. So let's not go there. You're supposed to be nodding your head in the affirmative for everything I say. That is how I see it. And I tell you, I'm coming as a mother here. Do not test a mother. I'm telling
Yes.
you, do not test a mother. She goes crazy.
That's right. Well, and I will tell you that even under the most insane stress of that, the worst thing you can go through in your existence, um, as a mom,
Mhm.
I was getting things done. I was making it happen
Yeah,
and
yeah,
doing what I thought needed to happen.
of
And
course.
as moms, like you were saying, we pick up the pieces and we make things happen,
Yeah.
and that's what we did. And
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So,
and
so
then and there's so much more to that story.
of
We
course, of
John,
course.
John's brother Bill, when he found out that Dalton had passed away, they were very, very close.
Hmm.
And he actually went out that evening and OD'd on
Oh,
heroin. And so
God.
we ended up losing him
Oh
also.
my God! On top of everything
Um,
else.
yes. So John's mom lost a son and a grandson that week.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
yeah, so we're planning two funerals and um, one in Colorado, one in Texas. Where I mean, there was just so much going
Ronnie,
on.
Ronnie, why are you alive
Yeah.
today? Why are you alive? Tell me, why are you alive?
I don't know. I think that we're supposed to be here to help, help people do. I don't know. I don't know.
Why are you alive today? Why are you still with your husband? Why?
Well,
Let's
I'm
let's
with my husband because he is amazing, and he's the only other person in the universe um, who knows what we've been through.
yeah. Why are you
Yeah,
alive?
that's a really good question, and I'm still trying to figure that out.
Because God has a purpose for you.
I hope so.
No, I know so. There's no hope in that. Because going through all of that, you either supposed to be in some mental institution or dead. It's one out of the two. I don't know which one is worse. And people listen to this may think, why am I being negative? I'm not normally a negative person, but to cope with the loss of a child is one crazy thing. Then to hear, for you to drop that bomb on me about your brother-in-law, I mean, nah, that is the one for you to walk without your clothes and go straight into the mental institution. Walk
Hmm.
naked on the street and just walk in and just walk straight in. Knock on the door, even just open the damn door and sit down.
There are days, let me tell you. There are definitely days.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Both try a lot of times saying, let's just give up, let's just be done with this. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So what is that string? Because it cannot be a rope. It must be a string that's holding you together. What is that
Yeah.
string, Ronnie?
I
What
don't
is
know.
that?
I think we had an amazing relationship before, and I would have told you before that we could never be any closer.
Yeah.
And to say I married my best friend is such an understatement. I married this man who is he's so understanding and so patient and listens so well, and he knows when to hug me and he knows when to say, "Shut up, you're being ridiculous." He's but he you know, we both know our limits, and we both and in fact I don't think we have any limits with each other.
Yeah.
But we both also understand at this point, honestly, we both understand that if we had to go through death again and it was one of us leaving the other behind, that would be as painful as losing Dalton all over again.
Yeah.
And there's no way that either one of us could put the other through that.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think? You know, Dalton is looking at you now. He's in a better place. How do you think Dalton, or what do you think Dalton would say to both his parents in looking at how you coped, how you managed, where you are now? What do you think he would say to you?
I think he would say he wished that we didn't have his picture everywhere. He was very quiet, and I don't think he would like all the attention. But it's funny with the book I wrote, and I put a lot of pictures in there, and then we have buttons, and we have these little pay it forward cards with his picture on it. So while I think he would be very upset that we were making him a main stage thing, I do think that he would be very proud that we have done something beautiful in his memory.
Yes. Do you still go back to the four-wheeler, the dunes and stuff? Do you go back to that?
Yes, in fact, we will go back in December for his 5th anniversary. Yes.
I'm thinking, since that was an extension of him, because I mean, he spent all his time doing that. That was just him. You know, it would be an aspect that you can also. It would be an aspect that you can also contribute or be a part of to help even other younger people who are involved in it, so that it would be like you're helping him to carry on his dream, what he absolutely loved.
Yes. Yeah.
That I think would make him happy, because you would be seeing the joy on other young kids' faces, and it will, you know, you can adopt them, they can adopt you, you can relate to the joy that they feel. And I think it would make him happy.
Yes. I agree. Yes. And that's and we do. We still ride a lot, and we spend a lot of time with kids and teaching them how to ride, and it's
I think
it is very healing.
Yes. Wow. A question I didn't ask from early on in the story is, the people that were with him when he passed, how do you relate to them, and how did they feel knowing that it happened with them and you were not there?
So with John and Kelly, or is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, both of them think that it was good that I wasn't there. They both think, obviously, that I would have gone crazy. But I will tell you that Dalton, in the very, very beginning, Dalton came to me in a dream and showed me what happened. But when he showed me what happened, he showed me with me riding my four-wheeler behind him, and how I reacted in that dream. And I did go crazy in that dream, and so it is better that I wasn't there.
You had that dream after.
So yes.
So he prepared you. Well, when I say prepared, he he came back to you to let you know it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. While you as a mom would have wished, you know, any normal mom would have wished it would have been there, but you can't handle it. So sometimes, you
Right.
know, we wish for things to happen and things happen differently to how we would have wanted it, but it's all for a reason.
Correct.
It's all for a
Yes.
reason. And we have to be able to learn, you know, take a lesson from everything that happens. Why it, you know, as opposed to saying why it happened this way, why, and I could have been and try to control, is we have to take a few steps back and say to ourselves, what is the lesson that I need to learn from this? If the movie had played out the way I wanted it, I would have reacted this way, or this could have happened. So it's best that it happened that way. Yeah?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
Ronnie. What do you want parents, mothers to learn from your experience? What is the hope? What are the coping strategies? We mentioned this at the beginning, that you want mothers, fathers, we're not leaving them out because we think that fathers, you know, they're men. Hey, they don't hurt and feel pain. And I don't believe in that. They feel much more pain or just as much pain. And because society makes it such that they're supposed to be men and holding their feelings, but they're dying inside. I mean, look at what your brother-in-law ended up doing. That is just enough
Yes.
evidence. That is just enough evidence to show. And that's the brother-in-law. That's the uncle. The
Yes.
father.
Exactly.
That's the brother-in-law. That's the uncle. Not even the father.
Yep.
Not that I'm putting down one for the other, but I'm just showing the coping. Some people just feel that because he's a man, you feel that he can cope better and whatever. So I'm not leaving out men at all. They are made to, they are socialized into being, don't cry, don't show your feelings or whatever. That is shit. That is crap. And I'm saying that right now. Right? We have
Yes.
to allow
Very
our
true.
men. Yes, we have to allow our men to be. Our men to cry, to shed a tear, to show love, to show emotions. Because that is what
Yes.
is our God-given ability to cope. The tears is a form of release, and it helps us to get clarity. Tears. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
yeah. So what are your tips or coping mechanisms or suggestions, advice for persons who may have gone through this and still having a hard time or are going through it now? What would you suggest to them? And then what I will do is
Um,
feature your website with your books and your pay it
oh,
forward.
thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Um, well, as far as grieving goes, I would um, say their name a lot and tell stories about them and write stories about them
Mhm.
and um, and laugh and do things that they would have been interested in. I
Yeah.
know after Dalton passed away, we took all of his friends it was every 2 months there for a while, and then it spread out,
Mhm.
and now it's very rarely, but we were taking them out to dinner, and then we would go do something fun like a haunted house or bowling or
That's nice.
laser tag or whatever. We would go do something, but at dinner, with all of his friends, and I know they probably just hated this, but we would make them go around the table and they had to tell a funny story about Dalton, something that they remembered.
Yeah.
And then we would go around the table again and they all had to say what they did in the past week to pay it forward in Dalton's memory, to do
Uh-huh.
something nice for another person.
Mhm.
And so it was nice to be able to kind of see the into the past, and that he did have a really good life with really good friends when you're going around the table and hearing these stories.
Uh-huh.
But the other side of it was being able to see that he still was having an impact on their life.
Mhm.
And I never surprised them with this. I said before we ever went that
Mhm.
I want you to know when we take you to dinner, we are going to do this.
Yeah.
So they had time to do their random act of
Yeah.
kindness.
Yeah. 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 So
um,
did you all get therapy? I'm sorry for cutting you. Did you all get therapy help to cope,
um,
professional help?
we tried. We went to a counselor who actually had lost her own daughter,
Wow.
um, and we did that. Well, John did one session with me. I did 3 sessions, and it was worthless. It was the wrong time and the wrong person for us.
Yeah.
And then I've gone twice since then. And both of those counselors said, "Why are you here? You're doing very well."
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually just started with a coach yesterday to kind of, because I am definitely at a point now where I feel like I need help. Before, I don't know that I was ready to admit that I needed help.
Good.
But now I'm at a point where I feel like I do need some help, and so I've got a coach, not a grief counselor, but an actual grief coach, kind of helping me walk through my feelings and feel everything. And because our coping mechanism for all of this time, honestly, has been being busy. And so I schedule us probably 18 hours out of every day. We are booked solid. And the reason being is because I do think that we could easily fall into not getting out of bed in the morning and laying in bed and being sad all the time. And that doesn't do any good for anyone.
So you use a distraction approach.
Yes, so and while a lot of that has been helping others and writing my books and doing the Pay It Forward campaign, a lot of it also has just been to be busy, and then to try not to have that have the grief consume us during working hours. And then when we come home at night, when it's just the 2 of us and the dog and there's no one else around, then we can fall apart. But
I know the quiet moments get to you, because you can't work out an activity for every minute, every second, every hour of the day, Ronnie. So what in my unprofessional opinion here is, and I mean, I understand what's going on, is you're using, like I said, a distraction, but that is really not going to help you to heal, because you can't distract yourself 24 hours. The quiet moment will get you. Whether you're in the shower, whether you're sitting on the toilet, whether you're standing in a line, whether you're in your bed with your husband, whether you're watching TV or actually the TV is watching you, because you're really not, you are really not watching the TV, right?
Right. Yes.
Right? It doesn't matter whether you're at a restaurant and there's a quiet moment after you've selected on the menu, it is going to hit you. So you need to really, like I said, get the help to heal and go back into those wounds. And those wounds are deeper than even the loss, the passing of Dalton, because that's why you're still holding on. You know, you're still in a denial using that distraction approach. It's not, you have to go deep. You have to go deep, and I'm just preparing you. And why am I telling you this? Is because I too am going through my own challenges, and I am in a process of healing right now. And it's, you know, yesterday something happened to me, and you know, some feelings welled up inside of me, and I had to go inward. We are looking outward for solutions to help us, but we have to go inward to that inner child of us to deal with those inner wounds, because that's what we should be protecting, our true self, not the ego. And the feelings that came back to me started to make me feel away, and I'm like, I had to talk to my inner self and say, why am I feeling this way? Why are these feelings bothering me? I thought I was at a point. So it just brought to my attention that I am not even near where I thought I was. And so I have so much work to do. It's going to be, let me prepare you. Just like the disclaimer, let me prepare you, Ronnie. It's going to be damn painful. It's going to be painful, that healing process. But you're a strong woman. You're a very strong woman. And you see, once you get over that point, you're going to be even more stronger than before being married, before knowing who you are, before the loss of before, you're going to be so much stronger. You wouldn't probably even recognize you. The pictures that you have around the house, the things that you're doing with the other kids, you will not be doing that anymore, because you wouldn't need to. You wouldn't need to be continuously trying to retain the memory. Nobody can take away the memory from you, you know, but you wouldn't keep perpetuating it. You wouldn't keep perpetuating it and asking persons to keep reminding you. We need to, the point of healing, you wouldn't need those reminders. You wouldn't need it to keep you going. I so love you, Ronnie. I just met you, but I so love you. I love you. I love all my guests. There's a connection that I have with all my guests. And you know what just came to me? You know, and not just came to me when I was started earlier on with you. You talk about Pay It Forward, and I'm going to highlight your website in a while. And I think I've always had this thought, but it came back to me in talking with you. I want to be able to meet all my guests, no matter where they are in the world. Meet them. I mean, we see each other, you know, and we talk here with technology. But one of my goals is to meet them face to face, spend some time with them, get into their families. You know, they get into mine, and we build that connection, because we have such a connection here on the show. But I think it's important for me to really meet my guests and take pictures, do selfies, do crazy shit. And just build that memory bank of experiences with all my guests.
Absolutely.
That is like a Pay It Forward for me. I don't know why I feel the need to do that. I really don't know if I want to discover why. That is just something that I feel inside of me that I want to do. Meet all my guests, no matter where they are in the world. Just meet them. Yes. Spend time, hang out, talk, get to know each other more, create more memories and experiences. Wow, Ronnie, you're gonna make it. Absolutely. You're gonna make it, Ronnie. You're gonna make it, my love. Tell me your website. Tell me your website. Let me grab it. Yeah, give me your website.
It is parentingatYourBestWithoutRegrets.com. And granted, we've spent today talking about grief and losing a child, but my books actually are more focused on helping current parents be more mindful in their parenting. And so again, that's parentingatYourBestWithoutRegrets.com.
Yeah.
And it's a parenting book that's looking back looking back from parenting and letting current parents know what we did right, what we messed up on, what we could have done better.
Please, I'm going to stop you right there. Did you go to a parenting university? Did you?
No, and I think we're all learning constantly.
Right. There is no manual. There is no university. There's no diploma, no certificate, no nothing. And the way you parent is a constant, is a one thing. I mean, you just go as you go along, right? As you go along. And we don't ask, when we come into this world, we didn't put in an application to say, these are the type of parents we want. Probably that should be a nice approach. I don't know if we could do that. But anyway, so we didn't put in an application to say, well, we want this type of parent, the way the parent must look. This is what we want. We did not put in an application. This is what we got and we worked with. And we end up sometimes being dysfunctional, sometimes being functional. A lot of us are dysfunctional, and we discover that later on in our lives, and then we have to try and fix the damn thing. So there's yes, we are all, you know, whatever. So our parents that we get is what we have to work with. But the whole thing about it is that we must create in our children conscious and aware beings that they may be able to be free to be who they are and be able to discern right from wrong, or what they want to take from their parents and what they want to do themselves. We must allow our children to have that type of freedom. As opposed as opposed to forcing them to be the Ronnie way or the John's way or the Lambrecht's way.
Right.
It must be Dalton's way. It must be Corinne's way. It must be,
Right.
whoever's way, Kelly's way. But it mustn't
Yeah.
be Ronnie's way or John's way or the Lambrecht way. There's no such thing. So you must take what you have. It's like clay. You get a raw piece of something and you must create your own. If it doesn't match what Ronnie Clay outcome of clay, molding her clay looks like, so what? It's your clay. So
Absolutely.
yes. So I love that you have a parent's journal. You have the parent's journal of a child. I think journaling is, I don't think journaling, and it's frightening for me, can I tell you? And I'm a publisher and I encourage people to journal. Lord help me. So journaling is very therapeutic. And I will tell you a lot of things. A lot of people look at their life now after 20, 30, 40 years, 50, whatever, and they feel they haven't accomplished. If you journal, you will see how much you have grown. Because a lot of it we forget.
Yes.
A lot of it we forget. And we're like, whoa, was I thinking that way 20 years ago? Wow, I'm a better person now. Or I'm a worse person now. Whichever way it goes.
Right.
Or I'm the same person 20 years ago. No, I haven't grown. Whichever. Or I'm on my way. It helps you to really make that type of assessment. Yeah. So I love your parenting books. Can
Yes.
they get it? Can they get it on your website, or is it also on Amazon?
Both. Yes, ma'am. Both.
Okay. And I see you have the audio version, which is great. I always encourage persons to have it in various formats. So you have it in the print, you have it in ebook as well.
Yes.
And in audio. Fabulous. And what is this here, Ronnie? Are you seeing?
Oh, there. It's a it's an award that I got for the book.
That's not, and you're like, oh, it's just an award I got for the book. It is an award. Ronnie, stop it. Oh, you're like, oh, hell no, it's an award. You got it for the book. Oh my God, Mom's Choice Award, honoring excellence. And as a result of the situation with Dalton, this is what came out of it. Isn't that awesome? Do you think that you would
Yes.
have written anything at all if it wasn't for the situation?
No, I definitely would not have written a parenting book. I might have written a fiction novel or something, but I never would have written a parenting book.
So why the
Yeah.
parenting book? Why that in particular?
I think I've been very, very honest about our grief journey and what we've been going through and our life. I'm an open book myself, and so I've blogged about it, and people kept coming back and saying, you should put this into a book because I took your tips and I did something today and it made my life with my child better. I had an old friend from high school tell me that he hadn't spoken to his son for 3 years.
Wow.
And because of what on Facebook, son and that they were spending time together and building their relationship again. And then the other side of it was my husband has a lot of regrets, and it's human nature to have regrets, even though maybe we shouldn't. We shouldn't have the regrets, but my husband had a lot of regrets, and so he just kept saying, you're the writer, and I wish that we could do something to help other parents who are still lucky enough to have their babies. And when I say babies, I mean like 0 to 100.
Yeah. Hello, I'm still a baby. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
I am still a baby. I tell people that when I go to my
Yeah.
dentist or anywhere, I say, treat me like a baby. Okay.
Exactly. So anyway, so John just said it would be so nice if we could really help parents focus on what they've got and really take the moments that, and he will tell you the moments that he didn't take to have with Dalton, that he was too busy doing something else and not paying attention, or that kind of a thing. And we all have those moments. Life gets to the best of us. And but just put your phones down and shut off the TV and sit down together and have a conversation and cuddle with your kids
Of course.
do, you know, take your everyday chores, your laundry, your dishes, you're making dinner, and make memories with those, because those are the
Memories.
memories I will tell you that you remember. And
Yeah.
it's those huge vacations to big, you know, you saved for 3 years to go to some big
Oh
vacation
yeah.
somewhere, and
Yeah.
that's not what you remember. I will tell you, the things you remember are, for us, it's doing laundry together and making dinner at night. And
Hello,
um,
burning the toast, burning the cake,
yes,
and still having to
exactly.
eat it. Okay?
Yes.
Okay? That is what makes the memories.
Yes, absolutely.
Those ridiculous little things that you quarrel over and you're like, what the hell? Right? but, but
Exactly.
you look back and you laugh. Who gives a shit about how much money you save for whatever? Right?
Yes,
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So here's a
that's
final
right.
question for you, Ronnie. I noticed the angle. Now I'm a publisher, like I tell you, and I'm an author as well. So
Okay.
I noticed the angle you took in writing your book. It tells me something, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. It tells me still that the whole idea of dealing with the grief has not yet hit you in the sense, because you took a different angle, meaning you're looking at helping parents to really value time with their kids, as opposed to hitting straight on with writing a book about the loss of a child, like how we're talking here today.
Right. And right. But I will tell you that I've read
Mhm.
probably every grief book that's ever been published.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that focusing on your grief,
Hmm.
like really focusing on it, is
Hmm.
not going to do anybody any good.
Right.
You've got to take what you learned from your grief, and you've
Hmm.
got to make the world a better place somehow,
Exactly. Yeah.
because doing that makes it so much better. Because focusing on your grief,
Hmm.
as an example, I could focus on the fact that Dalton was an amazing rider and he could take his bike anywhere, his four-wheeler
Hmm.
anywhere, but he
Hmm.
never got a driver's license,
No,
and he
damn.
never got to go to prom,
Yeah.
and he never got to go to the Marines, and he
Yeah.
never got to graduate from high school.
Yeah.
And I could focus on all of those things, but
Mhm.
instead I think it's incredibly important for all of us in
Mhm.
everyday life to
Mhm.
focus on the beauty in our lives and the people that are
Exactly.
around us. And
Yeah.
how, like for me, how blessed I am to be with you today
Yeah.
and to be able to be focused on you today.
Yeah.
And really, in any relationship that you have, in any encounter that you have on a daily basis,
Yeah.
um, be in the moment and really
That's
enjoy
right.
that person
Yeah.
and what you're doing. I think it's so incredibly important, and especially for us now, how
Yeah.
much we realize it. And you know, we go into a restaurant and you would not believe, and you'll notice it now, the
Mhm.
number of families that every person in the family is sitting there on their cell phone and they haven't said a
Oh
word to
my
each
God,
other.
Ronnie, that's a room for another topic. You notice how long we have been on
Exactly.
this show? Let us not go there this morning. Let us not go
Okay.
there this morning. You hit a button there, and I'm going to stop you right there. That is a topic for
Okay.
another day. I am very serious about that. Don't go there with me, Ronnie. Okay. So,
Okay.
but you are absolutely right.
Well,
You're
thank you so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure having you. But before you go, I want to feature, where do you have the paid forward on your website?
It's under on the far right there, and it says DIFDL, which is
Okay.
Do It for Dalton Lambrecht.
Yeah. Oh, yay! Oh, I love that with his angel wings. Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that. And just yesterday, somebody talked about paid forward too. It is so timely. A friend of mine is doing a paid forward promotion through somebody. I can't remember who. Umbrecht, it's almost similar to your name. I can't remember the name of the guy, but he's doing a paid forward. Like, for example, she was saying he would go to like amusement parks and buy tickets, just buy a bunch
Yes.
of tickets and just give it out to people.
Yes.
Right? And and
Yes.
and she says, the reaction that he gets is like, what are you up to? What are you up to? But he has no motive except just to pay it forward, and he would do things like that for people. but because of our society is one where we're so skeptic about a lot of things. We're like, why are you being so nice to me? Isn't that strange? That people
Yes.
can be nice to you? Wow, what kind of a world are we living in, Ronnie? That it's strange when
Exactly.
somebody is nice to us. Yeah, they
Yes.
think that there is a motive. What do you want? You know? Yeah,
Yes.
what do you want? What are you after? Although you have to be careful, yes, there may be a motive, but you have to follow, like I say, that gut instinct, that inner feeling, and believe in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, Ronnie, this has been a pleasure. I so adore you. I look forward to even having you back on my show now that
I
you've
would love
started.
to.
Yeah, now that you've started with a coach yesterday, to see how your journey has been. I want you to share your growth experience, when you do come back, in next how much months or even a year from now, I don't know. But we will stay in touch nevertheless, and just share that so that people can see, what has happened, what you have learned, how the paid forward is going for you, and do it for Dalton. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. Thanks for having me. It's been great to meet you, they call it. But
Yes.
yes, I want to come to Antibago. Is it Antibago? Is
Yeah,
that how I say it?
Trinidad and Tobago.
Antibago.
Yes,
Yes, I want
Trinidad
to come
and
there and see you.
of course, that is very possible. That is very possible. And leave California, the place that you don't really want to die. So,
That's right.
right?
That's
So
right.
this is
That's
this
right.
is awesome. Thank you so much, Ronnie. It's been eye-opening. You've really, I mean, you have no idea what you did for me today. And I am with you on creating memories and living in the power of now. Eckhart Tolle wrote that book, The Power of Now.
Yes,
And when I
exactly.
listen, I want to kind of round up with that, I haven't read the book yet, but I'm going to buy it. But I've heard about it. And when I listened to that recording of him and Oprah one time explaining, now, everything is about now. There's no future, there's no past.
Yes.
It's now. When you get to your future, it's now. The so-called
That's right.
tomorrow, it's now. So the whole concept of in the future, there's no such thing. I mean, that was so mind-opening for me.
Yes.
That was so mind-opening for me. So when we say, oh, in the next 5 years in my future, I'll do that. Now he's telling me there's no such thing as a future. It's now.
That's
I
right.
I
This is all
couldn't.
you've got.
Yeah, so everything is in the present, this moment, this
Yes.
second, this minute. Forget about this evening, lunchtime, tonight. Everything is now.
Yes.
That is that is awesome. So create your memories in the now. Live in the now. Thank you so much, Ronnie. Say hi to John for me.
I will. Thank
Yes, give
you.
him a kiss, a hug. Tell him the next time you're coming on the show, he's gotta be here. I don't care if
Okay.
he's afraid to be on camera, do what it takes. I would love to meet him. Thank you so much, Ronnie, for being on
Wonderful.
Between the Lines.
Oh, thank you so much.